My name is Michael Favor. I'm the proud founder of Pitbulls Addicts. If you don't know who I am a drug addict in recovery after abusing myself and others for 13 years. I finally had enough. I could not find help because I didn't have insurance. I was declined help from all over the world. I tried to get help and I didn't need help, I just needed guidance. And because of my financial situation, I could not afford it. I wound up rescuing a bunch of animals along the way, and I found myself. I found what emotions were, and I realized that, life is not that bad. And through all the struggles that I've been through, my purpose to live is to give these abused animals and judged animals the life that they deserve while in my care. They give me a reason to live. They brought me happiness at my darkest moments. If you've all been following my journey, 2018 was an extremely difficult time for me. I lost 4 people that were extremely close to me, one being my childhood friend for 26 years. If you ask me why, I will not have an answer. Why they didn't call me, why they didn't turn to me, I battle with it every single day. But I accept it. They're no longer with me. They're on my shoulders and they're watching me and they guide every movement. June 6, 2016, I had $5,000 in a dream, and the dream was just to keep one of my rescued pit bulls safe. I almost was evicted because I'm not allowed to have pit bulls in my community. So a dear friend of mine donated a piece of land and said that he would help me be able to build something where my dog will be safe, and whatever comes about this, it comes about it, but he believed in me. With that being said, I brought together thousands and thousands of families worldwide. I've helped, homeless. I've helped mothers in need around Christmas time. I've helped. I give back to the community as much as I can. I give back to human beings as much as I can, and I give back as much as I can to the animals in need. All the way from New York to Puerto Rico to, all over the place. If an animal needs me and I'm able to help that animal, I help that animal. I wanted to go off and show the world that Pitbulls and Addicts are 2 misunderstood breeds. With that being said, I had a friend named Louis Passante who came down 3 years ago in the early ages of my sobriety and did a tile job for me. When he came down here, I paid him every dime that he asked for. He did my work and he went home. When he went home, he had messaged a guy named Hector on Instagram and bashing me about the type of contractor I am and, just everything negative about somebody. The reason why, I don't know. But Hector messaged me and told me to watch out for him. Supposedly he's done this to all the tile guys that are successful across in California, wherever it is. If you're successful, Lou has a problem with you and Lou tries to bring you down. I never held it against him. I never mentioned it to him. I had met him to give him a dog that I adopted named Baymax. We met halfway from New York to Ohio, and from there our friendship grew, and he has witnessed this grow from the beginning. As many of you know that watch my live and everything recently, up until Sunday, he was one of my biggest supporters. He's told everybody on live about my whole story from bottom to top. He knows it. And please support him, and I support him. I've done everything possible to show this guy my way of life. So basically I had spoke to Lou, and Lou had some work to be performed at his house, and considering the fact that I do a lot of building for animals and stuff like that, he wanted to convert a basement, and he wanted to do some interior work, whatever the case was. So I went out there for 7 days. So on my way from leaving Staten Island to Ohio in a storm, I had a major breakdown. I didn't know what was going on in my life. I felt like I was in a rut. I felt like my whole world was crashing down. None of my friends were alive anymore. My father's got dementia, financially struggling, but I just didn't understand why. I trucked through that storm by myself to go to Lou's to clear my mind. And as I got through that storm, I look up and there was an angel in a cloud. And at that point I said, I'm headed the right way. I got to Lou's house. Within 15 minutes, I had said, I found myself. I said, I don't want to lose my girl. I lost everybody else in 2018. I do not hate her. There's nothing but love for that girl. She stood by me through thick and thin, 9 years together. And this is all because I'm not happy with myself. And the reason why I'm not happy with myself is because everybody's dying around me. There's no reason why people have to feel a certain which way because of their past. They just didn't know who to turn to. And that's because the fear of society. Society judges a drug addict the second they find out that they're in recovery or actively using. There's always doubt in addiction. We are, to be honest with you, not many of us live to see, what recovery is really like. And to me, I am proud of who I am. I am proud of my past. Anything that I could fix and repair from my years of abuse, I fixed or I'm in the middle of fixing. And that's it, I'm happy. So I had called Erica and I said I wanted to open up a sanctuary. I wanted to open up a sanctuary. As we all know, I did some footage where, I spoke about Freedom Home Sanctuary. Freedom Home Sanctuary is going to be a place of freedom, a place where people could come and find themselves. So with that being said, Lou Passante says, I volunteer at a place called Halo. Let's go take a ride up there. We took a ride up there, and as we pulled up to it, he says, this is exactly what you want. And I said, this is beautiful. It's a little house with a little kennel inside and 5 acres of land that was empty. So he said, this is what you need, and da-da-da-da-da. So I said, yes. I went inside. The dogs at Halo are underneath amazing care. The dogs are not at any risk. The place is very well cleaned. Everybody most of the people there are all there for the animals. And to be honest with you, I don't think that this is personally coming from anybody directly with Halo. I think that Halo was also conned by this man. Nothing adds up, and I've seen this all coming. So with that being said, after I met the owners of Halo, and I met the people of Halo, and I seen the conditions that the dogs were living in, I was okay with everything. I thought that it was beautiful. And, as many people know, I do not work with a lot of rescue groups. I do work with rescue groups, but there's a lot of rescue groups out there that are not in it for the same reason. It's not about money. It's not about anything. It's about giving these animals the lives that they deserve. A lot of people want to take all medical cases and then, they just discard the dog. Once the money is in, they discard the dog. It's been seen. Nobody wants to put the work in. Nobody wants to separate dogs. Nobody wants to, this is what rescue's about. When you rescue an animal, that animal is yours until it's either dead or adopted. Okay, I have animals that have been with me for 2 years that I will not give up on. I changed my life around because I wouldn't give up on Aria. I had no choice. I was not letting my girl, nobody would take her. At the time, Erica, we were newly into rescue. We didn't know. We called numerous rescues. The top rescues in New York City. We take every Pitbull. None of them wanted her. I had evaluators come to evaluate her that wouldn't even walk in my garage. So what did I have to do? I had to go off and work as much as I can to make $5,000 to be able to provide an environment where she is safe. That's what I do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Some rescue groups are not like me, or my rescue group. We are a family. These animals become our family until they are with their own family, if they can call theirs. Until they leave me, they are part of my family, and even when they go home, they're still part of me. I have hundreds of people, hundreds of families that are now complete because of a rescue dog that me or my rescue group have rescued, and they're living their lives happily. So I had asked if they would be interested in a program that I could go off and I could bring struggling addicts out of New York to Ohio to show them my way of life. I discussed them that there would be no detoxing, no medical detoxing, that the guys would just be, going through it in the beginning, but everything would be guided and nobody would be at fault. We will sign zero tolerance, everything. We will agree to your terms. We will obey by your rules. I just needed a place where I could bring men to show them my way of life. And rescue life could be done anywhere. I had an empty field, and I did it here in New York. So I said, let's take myself outside of my elements, learn some more about me, while also spreading my awareness that Pitbulls and Addicts are two misunderstood breeds. They agreed to have this program start March 1st. So when I left Ohio, I launched a GoFundMe. Now in my GoFundMe, I state that I am not going to be working anymore. Everything that you've seen up until this point has been self-funded. When I talk about self-funded, it means it's either self-made or self-raised. It's self-funded. I am not a foundation. I am not an organization. I am not a 501c3. I am just a man on a mission. And the mission is to show struggling addicts that there's a better life after drugs if you have a purpose. Okay? It's worked for me. They agreed to this program. I came home, I launched my GoFundMe, and everybody understand what this is about. I got trucks wrapped with all lettering so that when I'm traveling, people could see Pitbulls and Addicts, follow us, and help us spread awareness. My personal truck, I put new tires on it. I had some mechanical work that needed to be done. I have, I bought uniforms, which are the sweatshirts that nobody has except the guys in the community, the people that are a part of me. I have, I finished work at Freedom Home because I was going to be leaving, so I had built heated dog houses. I finished a bunch of miscellaneous work that was up and down because I'm the one who does the work here, and I wasn't gonna be around for some time. So I needed to make sure that my place, even though it's not complete, was okay until I returned. Everything was going great. Halo was happy to have me coming down. Lou was promoting me. Everything was going great until I noticed a change in Lou's attitude. It went from Pitbulls and Addicts to Team Safe Haven. And I didn't know what Team Safe Haven really was. Lou was a towel guy until I mentioned the fact that I wanted to go off. I wanted to have an apartment with struggling addicts where I could show them home life. Bring them to the rescue, and then also living with me. Because you know what? I'm just a regular guy, and I live a regular life. I tell people that my problem is not your problem, and your problem is not my problem. And besides that, as long as you are not trying to take money out of my pocket or hurt my family or my animals, that's okay. We don't have to respect each other and like each other, but we will live by each other. And that's my rule of thumb. You don't have to like me, but you will respect me, and I will respect you. It's unfortunate, but some people don't see eye to eye in this world, and there's a lot of things that you can't change in this world. And as a drug addict in recovery, I understand that in every aspect. So I haven't worked in 45 days. I explained that to everybody, from my personal bills to my rescue, to the traveling, to everything that I've done up until this point. So if anybody would like to see any type of documentation as far as the funds that I raised, by all means, please email MikeFavor1983@gmail.com, and I will have it printed out and presented to you. More importantly is that I would like you to know that if you feel that you would like your donation back, you could also email me, and I will kindly send you your donation back. I am nothing but honest and just trying to make a difference by saving lives, by helping struggling addicts, because I could not afford or find help or guidance when I needed it, when I was struggling in 2016. So I put it out there that I'll take any struggling addicts. I'm going to take 4. I have three people that sign up for them. One kid comes from Winchester, which I will not be discussing anything about. The one gentleman that is in Ohio now, it's been told to me that his family doesn't want him involved in anything. None of this is his problem, so his name, you all know what happened with that gentleman. I will not state his name nor go into any information about him. I have one thing to mention, but that's besides the point. I had another kid from Staten Island who backed out last minute. To the point where I had to have a friend drive my truck out there and fly home because I needed 2 trucks, because I did have Aria with me, and I would have 2 other kids that I wouldn't want to put in danger, so I needed 2 trucks out there. Lou could drive one if he wanted, and I could drive one with Aria. That was the plan. I was contacted by a young lady in regards to her brother who had just recently overdosed back to back, and she felt that this was the only thing that could potentially save her brother's life. And I said, Tell him to call me and tell me that he is ready. The next night from a hospital bed, I got a phone call, and it was this young man, strung out, looking for guidance. He wasn't ready to go, the same way that I wasn't ready to go. And I told him my quick sum up of how my program is going to be ran. And he's here today.
My name is John Stobley. I've been battling with addiction for 12 years now, and things just kind of spiraled out of control lately. I overdosed back to back, really scared my family, and my sister contacted me, told me about a guy she'd been following, Mike Favor with Pitbulls Addicts, and I'd been through the rehabs and jail, everything. None of it had worked for me. So I got into contact with Mike, and he told me about the program, told me if I wanted to give it a shot.
So amongst all of this is the beginning of what I feel like, somebody tried to really shatter my dreams, to take my whole vision and my lifestyle and make it as if it's all a fraud, and I am not who I say I am, and that this is all fake, and I don't know what to call this. I feel like I was conned. I feel like this guy's trying to con me and make me look like something to ruin me, to make himself look better. And after the phone call, after the text message from Hector, I still believe that an animal could change a human being. I'm also a changed man. So if you change and you show me with your actions that you change, I believe you. And, when I was with Lou, with the love for animals, it's sincere. He does love his animals. But I think that man is sick. We had an agreement that we were going to have an apartment together with struggle addicts living in it. We were going to have a house mom that came in on Sundays, or, we were going to have, we were going to video it up and all of this YouTube. We had future goals. But the program was starting within 30 days of me leaving. Within that 30 days, like I said, I stopped working. Everything from that has been supported. I show my every movement on Instagram. So everyone that's been following me has seen this happen. Also, amongst me raising this money, Wyatt Sharp lost his life. Now, Wyatt Sharp's family decided to send me all of their funding. Instead of having flowers sent to the ceremony, they wanted all of their family and loved ones to send money to my GoFundMe to help me build this program. I flew into Texas and spent the day with the family, surrounded by his loved one, speaking about addiction and helping them at the toughest time of their life. I flew in at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I flew back at 7 o'clock at night in the same day, so I could go be there with that family. Because you know what? When the mother reached out to me, I answered, I guided them. I was able to get him 6 months sober. Just by the guidance, I was able to help his mother deal with it. And, to me, she's my part of my family. She's still a friend of mine. She plans to come down to Freedom Home to help with her family to get away. We are still in contact. It's really a loss. It's a sad story. 19 years old. That boy, maybe I could have saved his life if I wasn't judged, and this was, So, while I was out here doing what I have to do in New York to get ready for my move, we came across a dog that needed some help, and I received a text message from Lou, and it states, "Getting killed tomorrow, do you have room in your condo?" And Lou says, "Yes, you could bring him to me tomorrow." Okay? So now I speak to Lou about a dog, that had to be away from other dogs for whatever reason. I don't care. I said, listen, the dog is ours. First thing that I do in rescue is I change that dog's name. That dog has a new life, new beginning. So it became a lot of drama between who had the dog, what rescue groups were involved, what places wanted to fund the dog, or whatever the case was. Way too much for me. If that dog was rescued into my rescue, my rescue takes it from there. Medical, names, care. You no longer have a say in that dog. That dog is part of me now. So I got to the point where I just said, hey, listen, whatever it is, the dog is safe. Whatever you guys choose to do, this is way too much drama for me. My fiance said it as well. You're going to regret this. And I still thought that everything was good. So, ironically, Halo says, we think that Maverick needs a new name after all of this drama. Okay? Maverick then became Chops, his original name. And that was basically it as far as Chops goes with the drama of the name and the this and the that. To me, it's just that the dog is safe. The dog is in no way going to be killed. The dog is safe. It doesn't matter. So, I get a phone call on March 2nd as I'm on my way to Ohio from Regina for 22 minutes. 22 minutes we spoke in regards to me having to postpone this program because of this animal. And I said, I cannot postpone this program. I have kids meeting me from Colorado. I have 2 dogs with me. I have a kid with me. I have a guy driving my truck that has to fly back. There's no postponing this. This is life. I said, if we have to do some other things instead of coming to the kennel right away, that's fine. Whatever it is, I need to get to the apartment with the 2 addicts and start to show them my way of life. So for 22 minutes we spoke about it, and it was settled that I told her that I personally separate dogs. I do it at Freedom Home. I've done it at my own home. Just because 2 dogs are aggressive doesn't mean that they can't be in the same home. If you separate them with caution, you could make anything work. And I was ready and willing to make it work, to the point where she agreed to start this program. So I got there Saturday. We settled in Saturday. Sunday, me, Carmine, and one of the kids I had with me went to Perkins in the morning, and then we went to Halo that evening. For the first time since we got there, we pulled up. I pulled up with a van and a truck, and her husband was in the garage, and I walked over to him, and his first words out of his mouth was, "What are you doing here?" He was not aware of what I was doing. Right there, I sensed a bad vibe. But again, maybe he wasn't aware because, for whatever reasons. Did not know. All I knew is I was there to work on kids. If I wasn't able to start building right away, I was okay with it. We had met that night with a couple of the volunteers. I purchased Benedato's for everybody, which is a local pizzeria. We had a discussion, and it was all about respect. We're here to respect one another. We're here to grow. We're here to help struggling addicts. We're here to help the community. We are here to, no longer deal with rescue groups that are not in it for the right reasons that we are, because we experienced it where that dog that they saved was supposedly tied up for 4 months in a dark room, and they were giving up on the dog because they needed more room in the shelter or the rescue, wherever it came from. So we had an honest and beautiful meeting amongst everybody, and that was that. The next day, which was Tuesday, Carmine and myself had to pick up John from the airport. So we left a little earlier. We stopped at the mall. We had lunch, and we picked up John. After we picked up John, we went back to Halo, and I said, hey, let's go out as a family and get something to eat. They recommended a place called Nick's. So that evening, we went to a local bar called Nick's. We sat at a high top table. Regina and her husband both drink. They were both drinking. One was drinking Long Island iced teas. One was drinking margaritas. To me, my problem ain't your problem, and your problem ain't my problem. But to welcome one another in, if you guys want to drink and enjoy life, that's what this is about. The program is to show men how to live in society without having to feel that they need to get drunk, high, do violent, create crimes, whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. You could still live a normal life. So right off the bat, I bring everybody out together, and we now have all the waitresses sing happy birthday as a joke. Everything was beautiful. One waitress did not sing happy birthday. She was at the kiosk right next to me putting in an order, and we were talking about Pitbulls. Well, a Pitbull saved her life. She had told me that she's a single struggling mother who lives home. and that she didn't sing happy birthday, and she apologized. So I said, I'll give you $20 if you go off and you sing happy birthday by yourself. She did. She got $20. We all left. The next day, everything was great. John was still withdrawing pretty bad. He was very shaky, lost and everything. As seen on my Instagram, I stayed home with him and I played Big Brother. I did not put anybody in harm's way. I did not want to bring him around animals because he was too scared. Animals picked that up, and I didn't want any accidents. You know, I sat home with him the whole day and worked on him mentally, physically. You know, I made sure he was hydrated. I made sure he had food in his stomach. I had him listening to motivational speeches. You know, I had him coming from rock bottom and understanding why he was with me. Later on that evening, Lou had came to stop by, and I had mentioned to Lou that where the local strip club was. And he said that there was one, not too far away, and that he didn't want to go. So I said, okay, no problem. We were out getting cigarettes, and I said, hey, you want to learn a lesson? And he said, yeah. We went to a local strip club. We walked in, and we sat down. I had 2 Red Bulls, and a woman walked up to us with a tray of shots. And she said, would you like a shot? And I said, no, thank you, I'm sober. And she said, that's a beautiful thing, and walked away. And I slapped little John on his leg, and I said, and that's how it's done. 2 minutes after that, we left, and we went home. The next day, we are reporting to close Halo for the evening, and I get told by Regina that we have to have a meeting. So I say, okay. We go into the office, me, Lou, Regina, and her husband. By the way, that office and the whole Halo facility is wired up and also cameraed up. So if you think that anything is false, you could request footage from Halo. They should be able to provide you with any information that you want. They observe dogs through cameras, study them, so they should have all of this. If this is wrong, they should be able to prove it wrong. In this meeting, the first question was, when you came here, didn't we speak about respect and respecting one another and leading by example? I said yes. She says, were you in a strip club last night? I said yes. She says, you need to go. And I said, why is that? And she says, because we received a phone call that your truck was seen in the strip club last night, and you made us look bad. And I said, how does that make you look bad? She says, because it's just not something that we do. I said, okay. I said, the reason why I went to that strip club was to show this young man that you could still do everyday activities that you do at home. You just don't need to drink alcohol. And you could say no. And that was a lesson learned, and that boy knows that he can now go places and say no to alcohol. The night before, we were in a bar with the same truck that was seen in the strip club, and I was buying them alcohol, and that's okay. Then I was told that my dogs had to go. So I said, why do my dogs need to go? They said, because there's a dog that's supposed to be in that house. And I said, at Freedom Home, my dog does not sleep in my bed. I do not mind if my dog is not sleeping in my bed. I will build a dog house if I'm allowed in the empty lot that you have where my dog can stay, because during the day is when I spend time with my dog. And that was the agreement on Friday night. I was going to build a dog house where my dog could stay overnight, and during the day I would work with her and give her the life that she deserves, the same way I do it at Freedom Home. I apologized, and everything was supposed to be good. Saturday morning, then Lou came back to the apartment that night. We discussed everything. Saturday morning, he was supposed to pick up the other gentleman to do some dog training, and me and John were supposed to report there for 11:30 to start working in the garage. A dumpster was coming. We woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, waiting for Lou, and I had thought that Lou was doing some work on his house, so therefore I didn't call him, didn't bother him. I thought maybe he fell behind. To me, time is of the essence. It doesn't matter as long as the job gets done. Well, Lou was already at Halo doing work. And when I got there, ironically, no work could be performed. There was a change in plans. So I said, okay. Now Lou wants to tell us to go. We have to go and fix the whole apartment today. And if the whole apartment is not done today, then we have to leave or go get a hotel room. And I said, where is this coming from? He said, this is my program, and this is what I want done, and this is what's going to get done. To the point where I just said, you know what? I'm over this, man. This is not working out for me. I have to go. So I go over to Regina, and I said, Regina, I'm sorry for everything. This is not going to work out. And she says, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's the best for everybody. You know, no hard feelings, this and that. So me and Regina were leaving off on beautiful terms. Regina's a great woman. And like I said previously, I think that she was conned as well. So I left off with Regina, that everything was good. And then Lou had came back, very aggressive, yelling and screaming, slamming his hand on his car, to the point where I told him, I said, watch the way you speak to me. I have many witnesses. I did not raise my voice. They're accusing me of things that are not being true. Regina turns to me and she says, you are a womanizer. You were seen in a strip club and now you're trying to sleep with one of my employees. And I said, what are you talking about? And she says, didn't you message the girl who works here? And I said, I did not. I said, here is the message from Facebook. She messaged me at 1:57 and it says, hey, are you up? I said, yeah. She says, I accidentally got regular coffee earlier and I cannot sleep. Did everything go okay earlier with Regina and Jimmy? I said, yeah, I think so. She says, I do not want you to leave yet. I said, I went to a strip club to show the kid reality. I explained by no means that I want to make her look bad. She is wonderful and I sincerely did not mean to get her judged. It's good, I think, I hope so. And then I put LOL, oh, thank you. Now, the whole thing sprawls out on Saturday between me and Lou and Regina, and I am gone. I said, it's just not working out, I'm leaving. At 3:26 a.m., she says, hey, can you talk for a second? I just wanted to say that I'm sorry for what happened Friday, although I don't know exactly what went down, and I hope it doesn't ruin what you've worked for. You have such a great vision for these guys, and what you are doing is such a good thing. I know you have a soft, tender, humble side in there somewhere, even though you came across as you don't. And I didn't respond to her. Then, yesterday, she had responded to a post of mine, and I liked it. And then yesterday evening, she writes to me, why did you like my post earlier? Aren't you mad at me for it? Why would I be mad when you didn't do nothing wrong? This woman, they're saying that I messaged this woman hitting on her, and this was the only contact that I had with her. How is that? I have a gentleman in my program with her. She's messaging me at 1:57 in the morning. She's putting emojis. I did not entertain it one bit. On Friday at 2:49, this is right after this happened, I was on my way to Perkins. As you can see, I could present a receipt that I very close to 2:49 p.m., I was in Perkins with two of my guys discussing what we were going to do. He says, I need to know what the current situation is. If you're leaving, I need you to leave this evening so I can have a place for this dog to stay. If you're staying, then I need to find out what your game plan is. I call him and I tell him, listen, my mind is all over the place. I had lost a friend when I was out here. I just got a phone call that my father's on his last leg of life. I didn't expect this. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Just give me a little bit of time. Later on that evening, I didn't respond back to him. So he messages me and says, hey, I'm going to bed, so I'm going to turn my phone off. I have not heard from you, so I'm just giving you a little bit of time. And I understand the situation. I am sorry about the outburst later. I think we have a solution that I can make it look like everything was fine. I've talked to Regina earlier, and I think that we have a proposition. We will not bring up anything about the weed, the strip club, or the woman. Call me in the morning, and I will give you what I think would work best. Would work the best way, so nothing looks bad on you or your guys. Good night, bro, with a heart. Okay? I did not entertain that. The next morning, he says, hey, Mike, I still not have heard from you. What I need you to do is pack up your stuff and leave my condo. I have to get shops there. If you are not gone by 1 o'clock, I am calling the police and will have you escorted out of the condo. We cannot drag this out anymore. You have brought nothing but negativity to us in this program that we are trying to run here. We are disruptive because we do not have a facility that we were going to use for dogs due to you bringing your 2 dogs, one being vicious and one being sick. I need you out of the condo so I can disinfect it and clean. Please understand I would like to resolve the situation in a calm and peaceful manner, but if you are not gone, I will call the police. That vicious dog, as posted by Lou, is Aria. Okay? Now I call him on Saturday and I discuss a couple of things and I tell him, I'm leaving. This is not working out for us. Let's just go. Let's just separate the right way. My supporters are not even aware of this. The whole point of my program is to show addicts a way of life. This is just a bump in the road. I'm going to go home and continue this at Freedom Home. Okay? He said that everything was good. You know, he understood. He apologized. Later on that evening, he came in that he was going to supposedly buy us dinner. When he came into the apartment, he asked if we wanted to go to dinner, and I said, no, we were going to the rodeo. We said, why don't you come to the rodeo with us? At that time, he said he had to go home to his girlfriend. He could not come out with us. Louis Passante started a Team Safe Haven GoFundMe for a goal of $20,000. And he says, thank you so much. We are going to change souls, spread the love and word. My name is Louis Passante. To start things off, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in New York. Right after graduating high school, I enrolled in the Marines and went off to fight in Desert Storm. I've worked as a tile perfectionist for most of my life, but now I'm going to do whatever I am most passionate about. My mission is to save less fortunate dogs that have been deemed aggressive and to show people that they can be saved, trained, and become a new dog. I am working with my friend Regina, who is a certified applied animal behavioralist. Let's not get the actions of others cost dogs their life. Hashtag Team Safe Haven. All the proceeds will be used for dog food, vet visits, medical problems, travel expenses, and boarding for the dogs until we find their new homes. Follow my journey on Instagram, Uncle Lou's Safe Haven for Dogs. Thank you for your time and donations. Together we are Team Safe Haven. If you have any questions or know of any dogs needing our help, feel free to email us at teamsafehaven@yahoo.com. Okay? What dogs do they have that Team Safe Haven has rescued? They don't have any. Vet visits, what are they raising money for a dog that doesn't need any medical condition right now? Medical problems, you have one dog. What medical does it have? Travel expenses, where are you traveling to? Boarding for the dogs, isn't this place up and running already? So why do you need to pay yourself to put rescued dogs in that place? At one point, after I have come back to New York, Lou was on live at Halo with a Halo dog. He is a Halo volunteer. He was screaming that Mike Favor abuses, beats, and starves his dog.
Look at this dog. This dog was literally attacking Mike Favor. Get it? Look, and he's playing. He's playing with John. This dog... Dogs are a perfect judge of character. Literally, this dog was attacking Mike Favor when he was here, and he's playing soccer with me and John. Don't be mean to your animals. Mike Favor was literally yelling and screaming at this dog. And look at this. Look how happy this dog is. We're playing soccer with him the first time ever. This dog has been out here with me and John, and he's having fun playing soccer. People are not the only ones that are happy that Mike Favor left. This dog was being yelled at by Mike Favor. Look at him. Fuck you, Pitbulls and Addicts. It's about love, not beating your animals or yelling and starving them. It's about love.
To me, he's representing Halo on their property as a volunteer for them with one of their dogs screaming, Mike Favor does this.